So we've gotten asked this question numerous times. What is Loosh and is it real? For those of you that don't know, the Illuminati, the Cabal, the Dark Ones are said to trade in and be addicted to and use on the populace this dark form of energy called Loosh. Hold on, there's a plane. So, and it's said to be able to keep them immortal, and that's probably true if you know how to use it. So is it real? Yes, it's real. And we're all familiar with it, actually. If you've been on the 3D plane, I cannot see you being here and not having been exposed to negative energies. First of all, let me just remind everyone, all energy is God's energy, the goddess's energy. All energy is, like all light is just light, but it can be broken up into all those different spectrums, and it can be seen in all these different ways, and it can be configured in all these different geometries. And so there are many ways to express light, and if you express light in a particular configuration, you can get darkness, because remember, there's only really light, there's only really love. Light actually is an aspect of love. But so in the same way that red, blue, green, yellow are aspects of white light, light is an aspect of love. So ultimately everything is love. But just like with light, if you take it and the light waves interfere with each other, if you shine two beams at each other and they interfere with each other, then you can get areas of darkness. This is exactly how the shadow was created on Earth, through bending the light, through interfering with it, refracting it back upon it, or reflecting it back upon itself until it interfered with itself. And then we got void spots within our appearance, within the field. That's all this is. That's all that's happening here. If you think, I'm sure you've seen Emoto's work with water, where he said I love you or I hate you to water, and looked at the water under extreme magnification and was able to see it forming into these different crystal structures, depending on the vibration. Calm down in there. So if you've ever seen like the work of like cymatics, or like if they put like I forget what medium they use, but you can do it with magnets, like with metal shavings, and then put a magnet underneath and you can see the magnetic field. Or you can do it with sound, where you put powder or something on a drum, and the vibration causes patterns to form. That's what's happening. That's what physical reality is, because you just have the field of love, which vibrated a certain way, becomes the field of light, which vibrated a certain way, becomes patterns of density and non-density, which is the appearance of physical structure. Of course, we are interpreting the physical structure the way we see it now, but through this particular mechanism or filter we have applied, which is the human body. That is another magnetic structure, which then interfaces with the greater magnetic structure in such a way as to cause more pattern formation within us, if that makes any sense. Anyways, that's off topic about the Loosh. So here's the easiest way to explain Loosh. All of us have experienced negativity, right? And I don't know what my viewers, I don't know what whoever's listening to me, I don't know what your particular thing is, but we've all experienced addiction. You would feel it in anger. It is anger, okay? Loosh is anger is a weak form of loosh, okay? But it's much more pinned to desire. It is tied to anger in the same way that like sex and violence can be tied to each other because of they're from in the negative frequency strata. So desire and violence, I should say. Of course, there is spiritual sex. There is sex that is divine, of course. But anyways, so anyone who has experienced addiction or desire or the feeling of doing something taboo, which is, you know, heavily encouraged, like in pornography and stuff, that's loosh. That feeling of you know, I shouldn't be doing this, but I just can't resist myself. And the intensity that comes, if you've noticed, when one does things that they're not supposed to do, associated with desire, there is an increase in the experience, and the intensity of the experience, and the release of the energy often. This is a feedback of loosh, okay? This is, in a sense, the way that grids are set up to interface with you, so that they feed back a little bit. See, once your aura and energetic body has been manipulated and entangled with these dark grid systems and dark entities in a certain way that they can feed off you and siphon your power away from you, you know, all the way to the point of someone who is homeless on the streets, dying of a drug addiction, has no power at all in their life. That is the extreme aversion, you know, or all the way until, and that's actually preferable to them than physical death. They get all the energy from that being right there. So, but that being still gets a pleasurable feeling when they stick that needle in their arm, or when they go and engage in some dark sex practice that is highly antithetical to their true self and to their soul's expression. But they have forgotten this. They get a reward, okay? This is their own energy. This is the climatic, you know, reward, the intense orgasm one gets from this, or the rush that one gets from doing the drug. This is your energy that you would be feeling all the time, but 10,000 times magnified in every moment of your life, where not being stolen from you and vampired you into the matrix. And what they give you back is 1% of it twisted up into a dark knot and interjected into a particular part of your aura that these beings have become, you know, addicted to, especially because the rest of their world has gone to hell, especially because the rest of their reality is so dark and bleak that this is the only good feeling they get, you know. So this is the scraps being thrown to a slave, okay? Now, for those that actually trade in this dark energy, for those that have embraced this as a way of life and have begun to victimize others so that they are not in a state of appearing depleted of energy. So for instance, you compare like a drug addict like Charlie Sheen compared to a homeless one, you know, even though they both have rampant addictions, one is filthy rich and doing whatever he wants, you know. This is why, because he is pulling dark energy from others now at this point. So, and he's being rewarded for his place in the system and encouraging these things in the matrix and all these things also. So yes, Loosh is real. We've all felt it, but it is no match for God's power. It is no match for the goddess's love. And love is the way to heal it, if one is addicted to it. Love, true love, unconditional love, felt, will shatter the dependency on Loosh. You know. Yeah, so I hope this helps. Love and light. Right, let me just add that in having to confront my own shadow, my own darkness, and not reject it, and we will all have to do this, we must recognize that there's an attraction in our personalities to the dark, to some degree, depending on how much we've played with it. So, in healing this realization and transmuting it to the light, I had to come to see the true purpose of this and the true cause of it, okay? And it comes from the original wound, from the original cause, but you must realize this dark energy, again, is God's energy. It is the goddess's energy. It is love that has been reversed. It is light that has been reversed. So it's you. This is your energy, and partly from a higher perspective, the attraction one feels to it is the attraction of the God self to heal this, to heal these original mother wounds that have been, these original mother fragments that have been left behind and distorted and damaged. Because everything to me is the mother's energy. I have come to understand that the father is an aspect of the mother. The father is the mind of the mother. So they are truly one being. It's like me saying that this is the man and this is the woman. But they're truly one, the mother and the father.